Give it back to him. Mr. But this is another loan which you requested from Social Security?
Yes, ma'am.
And this time it started off as a 15% loan, well, 15% of $3.6 million for fire and emergency vehicles purchase, and subsequently actually became a loan of $3.6 million because they were required to settle the entire invoice for the purchase of emergency vehicles.
That was the understanding. What you are explaining, I think, is not like the case. They had an understanding of the total sum, but there was a requirement of a down payment.
Of 15%.
Of that 15%, so that they can start the process of manufacturing, and then there will be payments, subsequent payments made afterwards, until it is completed, and then it will be delivered.
Contrary to what you say, maybe you were not there at the time.
Contrary to what I say?
Contrary to what you're saying, there is a letter, if you look at those documents, there is a letter dated 9 January 2014.
Okay, I was gone. I was referring to this letter that you showed me, that 12 November 2012. But, if we refer to November, 2014, yes, I wasn't there.
You were not there?
No.
Yes, so what was the purpose? Can you explain the circumstances of this?
Of what?
Of this loan.
Of this loan. It was meant for some fire tenders, ambulances, for the Banjul International Airport. There were manufacturers who were guests to the president, I believe through our former ambassador of the U.S. in the Gambia, Mr. Jackson McDonald. When they came in, and I think they had prior conversation, McDonald's and the president, on the need for improving the standards of the international of the airport to an international standard. And those fire tenders were found in major international airports, and those were requirements for recognition and for also attracting other carriers and other probably agencies in Europe and in the US. So it was decided by the president that he was interested in the products of Oshkosh to provide those ambulances and fire tenders.
And he decided that Social Security should pay?
Yes, as usual.
As usual. Right. John Deere tractors.
As I said, we had difficulties. Social Security had problems financially.
We hear you, Mr.
And at the end, it has to stall. It has to stop, because they couldn't make the payments. And at some point, the president thought we were dragging our feet, or we didn't want this accomplished.
I'm going to show you. I have few general questions to ask you, but let me show you the last transaction that I have that it looks like you were involved in. And these are in relation to, again, Social Security loans, John Deere tractors. Several of the communication I'm going to show you SC23, which is a facility for John Deere tractors. Can you tell us what you know? The letter was signed by one Charles Camara on behalf of the Secretary General. Where are you the Secretary General at this time?
I'm looking at the letter that you are referring to, June 12.
Where are you the Secretary General at this time?
2012. No, ma'am.
Right. But
I became SG again on July 26, 2012, a month after this letter.
I'm going to show you two documents that are not exhibited from John Deere with regard to this matter, which were addressed to the Office of the President for your attention. Can you take a look at those documents, please?
Sure. Yes, I have them with me.
So the process of the acquisition of those tractors started when you were Secretary General.
That's correct.
Can you tell us why the Office of the President was involved in the acquisition of tractors and farming implements at this time when you were there?
I believe there was this Vision 2016 that was being initiated. And there were, I believe, funds that were supposed to come for that Vision, 2016.
The funds were supposed to come from where?
I don't know if it was from the IMF or the World Bank, or I don't know. But there were funds for agriculture, I believe, food self-sufficiency or something that was supposed to be, whether it was FAO or the World Bank or IMF. But I understand that he met with officials of John Deere, again through the former U.S. ambassador to the Gambia, Mr. McDonald's. And he indicated his interest to mechanized agriculture in the Gambia, saying that he has tried several occasions in the past and it didn't work out. But this time, with the brand name and the history behind John Deere, he believes that they can provide, the necessary equipment, for his project, an agricultural project, Vision 2016 project that was to take place. So he was provided with the kinds of tractors, the equipment that were supposed to be, that those John Deere manufactures. So he was interested, and he identified a list of, those different kinds of machines.
He himself identified them?
Yes.
Was agriculture involved in the identification
of this? The Ministry of Agriculture, yes, they were involved. They were part of that meeting, I think, that the initial meeting.
Who was there from the Ministry of Agriculture?
I think it was Mr. Owens.
The minister?
Owens.
Minister Owens.
Yeah.
The representatives from John Deere, do you recollect them?
I check, they were somewhere from this Massinini.
Can you spell it for the record?
Massinini Aaron, Mashini. Aaron, Aaron.
What office did he hold in John Deere?
A senior office there, I don't know exactly.
Is there any office? What are you reading from, by the way?
I'm looking at an email.
What is the date of the email?
February 21st, 2012.
Can we have a look at your email? What is the email about?
It was just asking was telling them that I would be their point of contact.
That you yourself
Yes,
would be their point of contact?
Myself, Secretary General, Office of the President.
Right. Can we have, so what role did you play in the process? Can we have the email? We'll make a copy and return it for you.
No problem. No.
Do you have any other documents regarding this John Deere acquisition?
I have the ones that you showed me. I have their, some of them, they are original. The status update report. The status update report. The Gambia Agricultural Mechanization Project. Okay. Dated November 9th, 2012. I have the copies here. And the ones that you showed me right now. All right.
So, Social Security was identified to finance this project as well. Can you collect the
John Deere?
Please?
Tractors, yeah.
That's an exhibit. Can you give me the documents that I showed you, addressed to yourself? All right. Can you give me all, bring all the documents. Were you there when the farming equipment and machinery was ordered and arrived?
Yes, I was. I think they came in through different shipments, different dates. But I witnessed the arrival of most of the, the tractors. And they were some were assembled and brought at the office of the president, about 5 or 7. And others were at the MSA, MSA facility at I think it's Kotu.
What does MSA stand for?
Management.
Is it the Kotu workshop or is it a different company?
Yes, it's the Kotu workshop.
MSA, is that a privatized company? Or is it part of government?
At that time it was part of government.
But subsequently?
I don't know what happened after.
What happened to the tractors that were parked at MSA?
I left them. I don't know what happened. I know that they were there. Those that were assembled were there. And some were at the office of the president, to show him the types of tractors. And then I don't know what happened afterwards. You don't
know what happened to any of the tractors?
I left in 2013.
So when you left, the tractors had not been distributed. Is that what you're saying?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
How many tractors came?
Tractors with their equipment, was it? About 60 something?
Sorry, how many tractors came?
I am trying to confirm, but I cannot recall exactly how many were they, whether they were 60 of them, or I don't know how many.
If you cannot recall, then you cannot recall.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm applying to have admitted documents addressed to the witness from John Deere, as well as a status update on the long-term agricultural mechanization project in the Gambia, together with an email addressed to the witness.
There were 65 in 1970.
John Deere Mahindra. Honestly, I think that's it. Correspondence commencing 21st February 2012 between John Deere and Office of the President in a bundle marked MS, admitted marked MS61.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ba, these acquisitions by the Office of the President, the aircraft, the vehicles, the tractors, running into millions of US dollars, yet there is no suggestion anywhere about public procurement procedures. Did the Office of the President at any time during the period you were there use the process set out in the Public Procurement Act, which is the Gambia Public Procurement Rules, in acquiring any capital asset?
With regards to the aircraft, the tractors, and the fire tenders, no, it was not. It was special circumstances dictated by the former president, and we had to just carry it out.
Did you use GPPA public procurement processes at all?
On these ones?
No, at all.
Yeah.
You did?
On others.
All right.
On some others.
Like, give us an example.
No, I mean, if there were procurements, to be made, anywhere else, it will go through a process.
So far, in all the procurements that have come to this commission, including the procurement of vehicles, including these mostly vehicles really that have come here, there's been no suggestion at all that the Office of the President uses all procurement rules. Can you give us examples of any significant asset acquisition that the Office of the President use procurement rules to acquire?
All that I can say is that there were special circumstances, different, circumstances governing.
Isn't there a procedure where there are special circumstances? Isn't there a procedure that applies that through the Ministry of Finance at least to get some sort of waiver?
Possibly, yes, waiver request would be made, especially with vehicles that are purchased, for...
Are you speaking from your knowledge or are you speculating once more?
Waivers, vehicles, is something that I've experienced. Vehicles being purchased from suppliers, and they will request for duty waivers, through the Ministry of Finance.
Local suppliers?
Local suppliers. And
International?
And sometimes local suppliers, yes. But with these ones, like I said, it was not under normal circumstances.
It was not under normal circumstances?
No.
Meaning what?
Meaning this is what the executive saying, this is what I want, and I want it now, and I want it done this way. And you either with him or with, with the others.
I don't have any other questions unless the Commission has. For Mr. Brown.
Very well, you may go.
Thank you, sir.
We will require to come back on some other issues, but we'll let you know.
No problem, anytime.
Mr. Chairman, that's the last witness for the morning. Thank you.
Very well, we'll rise. We'll be back at 2:30.